Hello, everyone. So, Joshua,
Colin.
I may today have posted a dramatic video reenacting a fight that I had on Twitter last night. That didn't start out as a fight. Ironically, this is one of those occasions where I really don't think I did anything wrong. I really don't. Here's what happened. I asked a very legitimate question of someone, and all of a sudden they said something like, well, you obviously don't care about what's going on in organizations. And like you've known me a while. You've known that like I have been focused on like toxic work environments and organizations for an F ton of time. Yes. And so to have someone publicly say on Twitter, Carlin, you obviously don't really care about what's going on. And this is not like a rando. This is like a significant influential person. I was lit. And I basically was like, go screw. Like, I have been doing this shit longer than you have. Like, you know, how I had a how dare you moment. But the thing I want to talk about is this. Like, here's what I think happened, because I think that like this woman, and I up until like last night, I have a great deal of respect for this woman, but she's very meek, and she's kind of like, I don't want to use the word weak, but I'll use the word weak. Like, I would absolutely overpower her. And like, this is like a pattern for me, isn't it? Where I like interact with different types of people, and there are certain people that just for no good reason react to me as though I'm being aggressive to them when I'm just asking them a question. And you and many other people have always told me that like I have a super powerful energy. And so like, what is it that makes some people so goddamn intimidated by me that they act crazy and irrational? I don't understand.
Well, it's because you have Pluto in the first house. So Pluto in the first house. So the first house is what people see. It's the very visible aspect of you. And Pluto is like, it's like God of the underworld. It's like death. It's like, it's transformation. So when you have that in your aura and you project that when people see you on a first impression basis, that poses a threat, I believe, subconsciously, because they think that they're going to die, or part of their consciousness is going to be shattered, which is true. You do shatter people's ideas about things.
I shatter people's souls.
I don't know if you shatter people's souls, but I think that Plutonian energy, it's very scorpionic. You know what I mean? Even though you have Libra rising and you're in Aries, that it's almost like being very derisive. Like remember how we always talk about Hillary Clinton, how very few people are ambivalent about Hillary Clinton. People either like her or they really don't. You know what I mean? And I think with the Plutonian energy, it's actually even more so with you, because you represent change for people that they might not be able to rectify or be comfortable with. Does that make sense? That's how I think.
I guess it's so annoying though, because like in this case, I was honestly like not being aggressive. I don't feel like I said anything wrong. I feel like I just asked a question that I think was a perfectly valid question to ask. And all of a sudden I had this woman going, you obviously don't care about things, and man, I'm going to block you. And all. I'm like, what the hell even happened? And this is like a someone that I perceived as like previously reasonable. So here's what I did, because I think, like, generally speaking, I think that we always need to stand up for ourselves, especially when prominent people say stupid nonsense about us publicly. I also think that these are always good situations to monetize the hell out of it. And so I made a video talking about the whole scenario, playing it through. And of course, because it's a dramatic, juicy, gossipy video, of course it's going to get more views than the average video. This just is like the way this always works. But the comments are always like, Carlin, how dare you do this? There shouldn't be infighting, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, fuck that. Like, I have no loyalties to these people who are denouncing me publicly on Twitter. And I think that hitting back when someone hits you is the perfectly appropriate thing to do.
Agreed. Yeah. I mean, especially if she's firing the first shot. Yeah, screw that.
Do you think that, like, so generally you're in favor of, like, you know, if someone hits you, you hit back?
Absolutely. Yeah, you have to slap their hand to make sure, because if you let people, what you allow will continue. You have to teach people how to treat you. We teach everybody how to treat us. And if you let her get away with that, then she's just going to do it again and again and again. And especially because you're on the world stage, that sort of sets the tone of how you are going to allow other people to treat you. You can't allow that. No.
Yeah. So guys, if you have questions about what I'm talking about, you can refer to the video that I posted earlier today, and then I can get that YouTube sweet ad revenue for my troubles. All right, guys, welcome to Nothing Remotely Controversial. This is a show that Joshua and I do every Tuesday night, where Joshua, who is a professional psychic, uses his psychic... I always forget that part lately. It's like the best part of the show, though. Really but Joshua, who is this professional psychic, uses his astrology and tarot card and psychic powers to help us peer beneath the surface and tell us what's really going on in the world. And I got to tell you guys, based on some of the super chats I'm seeing so far, we're going to have a good high level, possibly even a spiritual discussion tonight, Joshua. Maybe we just won't focus on the news. Maybe we'll actually talk about other things too. So guys, if you want us to answer a question, or if you want Joshua to psychic a question, all you have to do is send us in a super chat. The super chat can be any amount that you like, but we do just ask that we make it a high-level question, like, did Epstein kill himself, which we're going to talk about in a sec. Not a low-level question, like, should I move to Alabama or wherever the heck? And actually, Joshua, I want to give you some credit. Because, and I know you always like getting credit for things, but you know what happened this week?
What?
And maybe people knew about this anyway, but like I wasn't paying attention to like the Epstein stuff, so I certainly didn't know about it. But basically, so it turns out, remember way back, we're gonna time travel for a second. We're gonna go back a whole year, because one of the very first shows that we did, you were asked to psychic if Epstein killed himself, and this was a traumatic experience for you. You did not like this. Do you remember that?
Vaguely.
Vaguely? What do you remember?
I remember that I was like, can we change the subject? Because it just made me feel like weird. Like it felt sordid and just like you wanted to shower with a Brillo pad afterwards. You know what I mean?
Well, you know what came out the other day? Basically, it felt bad because you didn't think Epstein killed himself. You thought it was a nefarious like chain of events. Jeffrey Epstein's prison guards admit they lied on records about his death.
Wow.
So it looks like you may have psychicked that one correctly, because really, why else would they lie? And apparently they got some deal where they won't even serve any jail time. So it's just like they're being let completely off. Really, what could possibly go wrong?
Wow.
So we have to give Joshua credit when he gets things right, as he is very... you actually get a lot of things right. In the great Joshua, guys, for anyone who hasn't maybe new to the show, Joshua actually predicted January 6th on January 5th. On the day before, he predicted the course of events for that day and has predicted many other things. So well done, you.
Thank you.
Yay. All right. Well, we got a super chat from John Morgan before the show even started, and he wants to know, this is a good question, what is self-righteousness, and how do you deal with a person that is self-righteous?
Ooh, that's really interesting. Well, let's see here. Let's see, self-righteous. Let's look our dictionary. Righteousness. So self-righteousness is the quality of state of being self-righteous. Okay, that's completely unhelpful.
Completely unhelpful.
It's also called sanctimoniousness. Holier than thou attitude is a feeling, a display, usually smug, of moral superiority derived from a sense that one's beliefs, actions, or affiliations are of greater virtue than those of the average person. Okay, so that makes sense.
So they're using it as like a pejorative.
Right. So self-righteous is holier than thou. Like, yeah. And what is the question again?
Well, the person asks, what is self-righteousness and how do you deal with a person that is self-righteous? I want to make a controversial argument. I don't know that self-righteousness is always a bad thing.
Right. I agree.
I make self-righteous videos like all the time. All the time.
Right.
And I don't feel bad about it.
No, I don't think so. I agree with you. I think that you have to express your values. And if that's, you know, if expressing what it is you believe to be true, then how are other people going to determine what they believe? You know what I mean? Yeah. I think there's a place for being self-righteous. I think that.
Go ahead. No, go ahead.
Well, it's an opportunity for you to determine how you believe and like your beliefs. So I don't think that self-righteousness is necessarily a bad thing. I think it can open the door for dialogue and debate.
Mm-hmm. I also think, like, you know, I think a lot of people, they tend to look at people that have confidence in what they're saying or speak with like authority, and they perceive it negatively for some reason. And I don't think this should be perceived as negatively. I think if you're perceiving someone as self-righteous, or if you're perceiving them as a narcissist, I oftentimes think that that's a reflection of your lack of self-worth more than it is a reflection of what they're actually doing.
Right. Like a lack of confidence in one's beliefs.
Yeah. You know? So if you have like someone like you know, okay, like me, let's just say that. If you have someone like me that is saying, you know, this is what I think and this is what it is, and I'm not asking permission from anyone, and I'm blatantly telling people who disagree with me to go screw. Well, if I'm being compared to someone who is much more meek and much less confident and much less willing to kind of say what they think, I'm going to be perceived as the self-righteous narcissist every day of the week.
Right. Right.
Even though that's not true.
I think that when we get, like, when you're talking about worldly issues, like, for instance, self-righteous on a personal level, I think is different. Like, if you were to say, you know what, you really should have done X, Y, B, and Z, because that's what a good sister does. Like, that's a personal thing. I think when you're self-righteous, it's more a matter of, like, the grand scheme of things. So I think there's a difference when you're personally projecting what you believe to be valuable onto somebody else. I think that can be really self-righteous. But I think that you know, being a teacher in a lot of respects, I think that I wouldn't call that self-righteous. I think if you were directing it like, you should do this and you should do that, then that's more self-righteous. Don't you think?
Well, George Andre Veloso Nunez says, a self-righteous person, as I see it, is someone who thinks their opinions and points of views are the only one that matter and are correct. I mean, I'm going to be honest. When I'm expressing an opinion about something, I think that opinion is correct.
Right. But you don't think it's the only one that matters.
Sometimes I think it's the only one that matters.
But you would use the other person's perspective to hone your own argument, wouldn't you?
I mean, I think sometimes maybe, but I also think that I don't think that there is anything wrong with being confident in your opinion. Now, that's not to say that people shouldn't close themselves off to should close themselves off to new information. I think that people should always be open to new information. But I also think that, like, I think that most people, I was thinking about this because I had to drive a bit in my car today, and I really think that one of the greatest problems that's plaguing the country today is just a total and complete lack of self-worth and self-empowerment. Because if people were more inclined to stand up and say, this is what I think, and I don't give a flying F if you agree with me or not, I think we would be in a much different place. I think people being timid and afraid and frankly not self-righteous, because I think especially when we're fighting things like the woke and critical race theory, I think that you should be self-righteous. I'm sorry. Like, I feel extremely righteous in my position against critical race theory, and I'm not going to apologize for that. I'm not going to take in new information from the critical race theorists because I think they are flat wrong.
Right.
So how should someone deal with a self-righteous bitch like me, Joshua?
I wouldn't call you.
You have to deal with me every single week, and sometimes I'm yelling at you. And so how do you deal with a self-righteous bitch like me?
I wouldn't call you self-righteous. I think it's important for us to always understand other people's views, even if we don't agree with them, and to know that those views matter, even if we disagree with them. And I don't see you doing that. Maybe because a lot of, like, your platform is such that you're constantly communicating. Very rarely are you in like a debate setting. But when you are, you're amazing at it, right? Because I think from what I've seen, you gain an understanding of what somebody else is arguing, and then you shoot holes in their argument. So I wouldn't use the term self-righteous with you. I see it as much more of I think that you have to express your truth, and I don't think that's self-righteous.
Wow.
If you were to go personally and say, for something that's not a global issue, and you're saying you should do this or you should do that, and that's what a good person would do, that I think is self-righteous, and I've never heard you ever speak like that, ever.
Excellent. That is the correct answer. Lori J says, Joshua got everything right in my private reading. Thank you, oh prophetic one.
Thank you, Lori. Great picture, Lori.
All right, let's see. Let's look at another super chat. Joshua Deb McL says, there are paranormal shows from all over the world on TV and the internet. Are the ghost hunters real? Why so much negative energy? What do you think?
I don't buy into a lot of those.
No, don't ruin my dreams, Joshua.
I'm sorry. No, I've been on set on a few of them, and they're not all real.
Can you tell us what you saw on set?
Well, I mean, the thing is that you got to remember when you are getting a lot of people together, and there's like, the prop guy and the camera crew and the people that are working there. I mean, it's too much of a risk to be sort of like, what is the legitimate psychic going to go in and be like, yeah, I don't really feel anything.
Did you lie on a ghost hunting show?
I never actually had to be in a situation like that. I have been on set with somebody assisting them, but I never got to put any input in. Luckily, in like one of the instances, there was actually paranormal activity, but you got to remember there's a tremendous amount of pressure. Whereas, there's got to be something that you can tap into. But I think that when a lot of money is involved, there's a tremendous amount of pressure on the psychic or the person who is doing the ghost hunting. So I think a lot of it, it's understandable why they can't be sort of like, sorry, what are they going to do? Not have a show? I mean, it's entertainment, Well,
but do you think that ghosts are real in general?
I've only had congenial interactions with spirit. Like I've never, maybe they know I would get freaked out and they keep at bay, but I've only had beautiful, wonderful interactions with spirit. So I think that there are ghosts, but I'd like to think that if you keep your energy to a certain height, to a certain high vibration, that you're not going to be influenced by that energy.
Did I ever tell you when I saw a ghost? Like a legit ghost?
This.
Oh, yeah, I saw a legit ghost. So this is like way back in the day. This is like when I was maybe 20 or something like that, and I was dating this jackass, and so he had always said to me, he's like, I have spirits that are following me. I was like, okay, Sean, whatever. And so I didn't really think about it, but we were like taking a walk out in the woods, like in a meadow around his house one day, and just kind of like wandering around. We weren't really doing anything, and I swear, like I tripped over nothing. There was nothing. This is not just me being clumsy. It wasn't even just tripped. Like I felt like I was like pushed over something, and like I hurt my ankle and like all this stuff. And it was the weirdest thing. I was like, what the hell happened? Because it wasn't just that, like, I can admit when I'm clumsy. I broke my foot by tripping on a sidewalk. Like I can admit when I do stupid things. This was not that. This was like a legit, like I was pushed over something. And I was like, what the hell is going on? Well, that night, we're in bed and we're just sleeping. It's like the middle of the night, and I wake up and I look at the end of the bed and I saw a legit ghost. It was sitting on the end of the bed. It was all like, I was not asleep, and it was like very skeletal and had red eyes, and it turned and pointed at my then jackass boyfriend, and I was terrified. I didn't even know what to do. And I basically, like, I think I just like rolled over on top of him because I was like so scared. I was like, I'm going back to sleep. I don't see this. I don't see this. I don't see this. But that was the scariest thing that's ever happened to me. And I swear it was real. I was not asleep. I saw a ghost.
Wow. Were you drinking or?
No, I was like a innocent little child back then. I didn't do anything.
Wow. Yeah, that's intense. That's intense.
Yeah. I was like, man, he's not lying. He's got spirits following him. But so that's what it was. That's my ghost story. Do you have any interesting ghost stories?
I've only had really congenial interactions. I think if anything,
Those
I
don't
may
have to
have
be
been.
scary. There's Casper, the friendly ghost.
There is Casper, the friendly ghost. Yeah, I think maybe. I don't know. I wouldn't call it as ghost. Well, let me ask this: was the person you were hanging around? Were they somewhat like low vibration? Would you say, or were they?
Oh, dude, you should see. I occasionally stalk his social media today, and I'm like, Carlin, what the holy hell were you thinking? Because it's like all demonic. It's like all black and dark and just like low and scary. I'm like, thank God I didn't marry him. That would have been a mistake.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, I would think that like the higher your vibration, the less likely you are to deal with anything negative like that.
I guess. Jane Eldridge, thank you for the super chat. We appreciate that. Let me see. Okay, getting into some news related content. Oh, before we get into this, Joshua, we had a very rare occurrence today where I was gone all afternoon, and so I wasn't keeping up on the news. And you had something you wanted to share with me and to teach me about the news for once. What happened in the news today?
Well, I believe it was yesterday. House Minority Leader Kevin McCarthy calls Georgia GOP representative's remarks appalling. So have you heard about this? What Marjorie Taylor Greene said? Okay, so you got to hear about this. People are really up in arms. All Republicans have condemned this, or most Republicans.
Well, this is like, I knew something happened because I came home and the first thing I saw on my Twitter was Kevin McCarthy issuing a statement condemning Marjorie Taylor Greene. And I didn't even read the statement, and I didn't even look for what Marjorie Taylor Greene said. I just retweeted him. I was like, what a pussy.
Oh, well, this is the thing, that he probably has a very good point. Because Marjorie Taylor Greene compared proof of COVID-19 vaccinations to actions taken against Jewish people by Nazi Germany leading up to the Holocaust.
But did she really?
She
what
said,
did she actually say?
And I quote, vaccinated employees get a vaccination logo just like the Nazis forced Jewish people to wear a gold star, Mrs. Greene said Tuesday morning on Twitter.
I'm going to be honest, I don't disagree with her.
Carlin.
I don't disagree with her, Joshua. We are creating a caste system in this country where what they're going to try to do is create a caste system where vaccinated people have access to some things and non-vaccinated people don't have access to those things. That's exactly what's happening. She's not wrong. People are wearing, Joshua, people are getting vaccination tattoos. People are wearing vaccination jewelry. It is like a goddamn cult.
I think that whenever we compare anything to the Holocaust, we're probably wrong, or definitely wrong. Like, I just don't think it's not an appropriate analogy for anything.
Why?
Because it's the Holocaust.
So?
So you shouldn't compare anything that's going on right now to the Holocaust. I mean, I just don't think
what about Gaza bombing the hell out of Israel? Can we compare that to the Holocaust?
I don't know enough about Gaza. Probably not. I think that whenever we compare anything to the Holocaust, we're probably wrong. We probably should stay away from that analogy. I just think that it's just in very poor taste, and it's just I just don't think it's right. I don't think that she should have made that analogy. And everybody has, said that it was just really bad. Like Kevin McCarthy said, Marjorie is wrong in her intentional decision to compare the horrors of the Holocaust with wearing masks.
I don't care what Kevin McCarthy said. I don't no, this is what the Republicans do. They throw their own people under the bus. This would never, ever, 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 ever happen if she was a Democrat. She could make any comparison she wanted. It doesn't matter. This is what the Republicans do, and this is why they always lose every damn time. They threw their own voters under the bus after January 6th. They should have said, no, this was not an insurrection. It was not. It was a mostly peaceful protest. That's exactly what it was, which is what the Democrats said all summer when Black-owned businesses were destroyed all over the place.
So you don't think Marjorie Taylor Greene is Looney Tunes?
Oh, I think she's crazy. Yeah, but that doesn't mean she's wrong.
Okay. I mean, like I said, I think that is comparing the Holocaust to having people wear masks. I think that's again.
That's
You
not
are
what she's doing, though. But that's not what she's doing. She's saying that this is creating a caste system in this country that is similar to when Jews had to wear yellow stars. And she's not wrong. She's not.
well, I hear your opinion. I hear what you're saying, but I respectfully disagree. I do not think that. I think that was a ludicrous analogy and extremely offensive. So, yeah, and I mean, she's just not. She's just crazy. She's just
Is it
crazy.
more offensive than calling every white person a racist?
Is it as offensive?
Sure.
I certainly don't think that every white person is a racist, and I certainly
but a lot of people do. Is it more offensive than calling every white person a racist?
I mean, I don't know what the I don't know if there's a scale of offensiveness, but I think that it just left a very bad taste in my mouth what she had said. But also, you know, in regard to calling all white people racist, I think that's really, really, really terrible. And I think that what's interesting is the people who are going for this critical race theory are mostly white lefties, like extreme lefty white people.
Rich white lefties.
Rich white lefties. I mean, it's crazy. But yeah, that was the Marjorie Taylor Greene thing that I wanted to tell you about. You get to see the video because, like, her telling the video, it's like that. If you saw the video, perhaps you would agree with me more because the way that she was explaining it was really, really bad. And then she called Nancy Pelosi mentally ill. I think that's
well. I don't think many people would disagree with that.
I don't.
Joshua, you're becoming a Democrat again. What happened? I just thought that I was being successful at red pilling you.
No, I am not becoming a Democrat. I just don't agree with Holocaust analogies, especially in regards to COVID and masks and vaccinations. I just don't think it's. I do think though that it's going to be very difficult for people that are not vaxxed, and that is something that I think is just a hot topic. Like, they are requiring proof. I know the Laugh Factory, the Laugh Factory in LA.
Mm-hmm.
So I was just online. I was like, oh, maybe I'll go Laugh Factory and see a show. And they're requiring a proof of, I think it's of vaccinations.
They're not allowed to do that. It's not legal.
I think that private entities like clubs and whatnot, I think that they are allowed.
Well, the comedy is going to suck. If they're requiring proof of vaccination, that means the comedy is going to suck.
Well,
like, to an epic degree of suck.
I don't know how comedians could possibly, like, what can they actually talk about now? Like, I think the only people that are able to be made fun of now are really the Republicans or like the NRA. Like, I don't think nobody is really like able to make jokes like we used to make anymore in, pure fun. Like, I'm curious as to see what is actually flying now. Like, what can we actually say? Just because I would think that now with, the hypersensitivity, I would think that comedy is really suffering.
I would think so. Well, I'm not getting vaccinated. These people can go fuck themselves. I don't really want to go to the Laugh Factory anyway because I think the comedy is going to suck. So that would be a wasted trip.
It'd be waste anyway. Yeah.
All right. Nephi wants to know, is the new law in Florida going to have a significant impact on social media? So, Joshua, the new law in Florida is that Ron DeSantis, who is the only good Republican, the only one, there is one good Republican, and that is Ron DeSantis, has signed a law into being a law, a bill into being a law in Florida that would basically prevent social media, like fine social media companies if they banned people from Florida for no good reason. So can we look and see if this is going to have a significant impact on social media?
Let's see. So we want to look and see if it's going to have a significant impact. Is that correct?
Yes. Will they stop banning people?
So will the new law in Florida have a significant impact on social media, right?
Yes.
And I'm going to stop shuffling on that.
Stop.
Let's see. Will it have a significant impact on social media? Oh, interesting. So a decision will be made that definitely changes course of things. With Knight of Pentacles, though, this guy, his energy is probably going to keep things stabilized, and then we have like the Fool. So I feel like I don't know like what can happen in terms of this law, but it seems like it's going to most likely like it'll get passed, and then it will be stopped, and then it's going to be like up for something else. Is that probable? The way the situation can play out, like
Maybe.
they stop it, and then it sort of like goes to another. Like it gets appealed? Is that possible?
If it gets challenged in court, yeah. I mean, I would imagine the social media companies are going to challenge this.
Yeah, that makes sense because we do have the Fool card. So there's a lot of stuff that needs to happen before a decision is reached, essentially. Like there will be a decision, then there'll be some backlash for that decision, and then it's like anyone's guess with the Fool card.
All right. Alexander Martin says, good evening, guys. I know you've mounted that like button, right? Thank you, Alexander, for that. All right, I have to go into my other super chat area because StreamYard doesn't let me show all of them. Okay, Cash Me Outside. We don't do personal questions, but if we have time, I'll try to get it in. I promise. Thank you for the super chat. Right as Rain. Is there a large event in our near future which will help unify our deep differences? And thanks, Joshua, for the awesome private reading.
Thank you. Let's see. So is there going to be an actual event that helps unify people? Is that correct?
Yeah,
Ellen?
Is there going to be a large event that will help us put aside our petty squabbles?
And so I'm going to stop shuffling on that.
Stop.
I think so. I think that with the Hierophant card here, this is definitely like a leader or a group. There is a little bit of like confusion in regard to that. But then again, with Knight of Pentacles, I think at certain point there will be. I think you're going to see somebody new around within a year and a half. This guy keeps coming up. I think there's going to be somebody within a year and a half that's going to help bring people together, especially parties. I think there's going to be like almost like this guy is going to have this ability to reach both sides of the fence, so to speak. I wonder who that is.
I don't know. Okay, so it's definitely not going to be Ron DeSantis that's going to reach both sides of the fence. I'll tell you that right now. They hate him already.
Yeah, most likely not.
But we'll
I feel like
see.
with the younger energy, it's interesting. Yeah, I think you're going to get somebody who's like a conservative Democrat or a the opposite of that, which would be a liberal conservative.
A liberal Republican?
Yeah. Somebody I think is going to really reach things. It's really interesting. I feel like he's really balanced.
Is that person the Antichrist?
Maybe. We'll have to look for the 666 like back of his head. Definitely.
We'll have to look for the omen. All right. M169 says, do you think that psychic abilities can run in families? Many family members of mine have known stuff before it happened. What do you think, Joshua?
Yes. Yeah, absolutely. A lot of my friends have that in their background. I think my family, they may have been latent psychics, meaning like they never practiced, but I think that they probably were. But yeah, oftentimes it does run in the family. Definitely.
So
I think everybody's psychic. I think everybody's
I was going to
psychic.
say that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Everyone can do this, but you have to like practice it and develop it. And some people are better than others.
Yeah, you have to align yourself with your intuition and let yourself be influenced by source and by spirit. And I think that once you're open to it, then you'll keep getting information and then you'll have no choice but to do readings or you'll feel like you'll explode. So be careful.
Sometimes I wish I could turn it off because you always say that I'm very psychic, but like I don't experience it like that. I just like get feelings about things and then like words come out of my mouth And like, but like sometimes I wish I could turn it off because I remember what it was like before my intuition opened up and I couldn't feel as much. And now sometimes like I feel like I can feel everything and I usually don't know what to do with it. And it's annoying.
Oh, I bet. I mean, that's where water comes in, because the thing is that oftentimes it's almost like you're picking up on energy of other people. So it's like really important to like rinse it off. That's why water is so very important.
All right. Cindy's Chastain says, will Republicans ever grow a spine and fight to save the country? I feel like we psychic this question every single week. Will Republicans be growing a spine rather anytime soon? Maybe they need a sign as well, but
let's see. And tell me to stop shuffling on that.
stop.
I think so. Personal power. So I think that it's like the pendulum swings. You know what I mean? Like with Two of Wands, then you have like this almost like this power struggle. So I do think that there will be success in that regard, especially with the world. And then with Four of Wands. So I do think that you're going to see people starting to get a lot more loud, and they're not going to let themselves be pushed around. Absolutely. I think Two of Wands is definitely getting a spine card. Definitely.
I wonder if it's going to be the people or if it's going to be the politicians, because I think it's going to be the people. I hope it's going to be the people. I don't think the politicians are going to do it. What do you think?
I think that you're going to have some politicians that are going to start getting loud. Absolutely.
Like Marjorie Taylor Greene.
I mean, I don't think that she's really helping the Republican Party. I think it's very difficult for. Don't you agree that like she's probably doing more harm than good?
No, I do not agree. No. She is one of very, very few Republicans who's actually speaking up for people and actually speaking up for principle. And is she a little wacky? Yes, she is. But I don't even care, because at least she's doing something, because most of them are doing absolutely nothing. So I will take the crazy person who sometimes hits the nail exactly on the head over people who might present as more calm and sane, as rational and diplomatic and politician-like, but never do a goddamn thing.
Why wouldn't Jim Jordan? Do you think he would ever run for president? Wouldn't that be nice? I love Jim Jordan. I always have.
I don't know. Maybe. Why don't you psychic that, Joshua? Will Jim Jordan be our knight of, what was it, Pentacles?
Oh, no, because he's not anything. I mean, he doesn't, I don't think, has a liver bone in his body. Do you?
No, probably not.
But let's just see of Jim Jordan. So just say, will Jim Jordan possibly run for president?
Will Jim Jordan run for president?
And tell me to stop shuffling on that.
Stop.
Knight of Cups, Two of Swords. No, he has a fear of failure, I think, with the Two of Swords and Seven of Discs. It's unfortunate. I know. I like him. I love when he argues. He's just a really good arguer, don't you think?
Yes, I do. I think he's great. All right. Travis McClug says history books and Bibles from before the 1800s tell a very different story than books we have today. Have the most powerful families changed our history for their own benefit? Dr. K rules. Can we psychic that? Have the most powerful families in history changed these books to their benefit?
Like his story as opposed to history, you mean?
Yes, his story.
And I'm going to stop shuffling.
Stop.
Absolutely.
Oh, good. Good. So we really have no effing clue whatever happened.
No. It's all propaganda. I mean, Page of Swords, especially coming after Queen of Pentacles and Justice. I think that there was probably whoever had the gold or the money or the power and whatnot, they were able to create a lot of fiction. I mean, there's a lot of fiction that we take at face value that are in the history books. Like, that's true. But I think that also along the lines, you have other people that are sort of like, that didn't happen. And then, so there's a balance to be had. But a lot of things I think are absolutely fictive, according to this, to make the people in power look good. Definitely.
Okay. J. Russ says, hello, just wanted to share. I used to have shadow people surround my bed for years and a case of UFO style missing time. Now an unrelated question for Joshua. Will China invade Taiwan?
Ooh.
I think I was abducted by a UFO. I think we talked about this like last year sometime.
Ooh, that's right. We did talk about that.
Yeah, I think I was abducted at some point by aliens. I do.
That makes a lot of sense.
Yeah. I cheated on you with another psychic who told me that I was abducted by aliens.
So will China invade Taiwan?
Yes.
And 10 minutes to stop shuffling.
Stop.
Let's see. I don't think they're gonna need to.
Why?
Because with 9 of Cups, they're just like sitting pretty, and with 5 of Swords, like I think that they know that they're not gonna need to really put so much muscle in. I think just like a few threats will be fine. I think Taiwan is afraid of China, and I think that it would be it's unnecessary. I don't think it's necessary. I think China has Taiwan by the balls, and I don't know anything about it, but that's what these cards would suggest.
You know what happened today? You know John Cena, the wrestler / sometimes kind of actor. So he had to issue an apology on like Chinese state television in Mandarin, apologizing for calling Taiwan a country.
Ooh.
Like, how crazy is that? Like, China has got everyone by the balls. Like, literally everyone by the balls.
Yeah.
All right. Let's see. Michael Rogers says, sorry, Joshua, I think you are amazing, but you need to look more into Hamas and its objectives. Part of their manifesto is to literally end Israel. Joshua doesn't watch the news.
Very rarely. Sometimes I'll get caught down a rabbit hole, and then I'll just realize, oh my God, an hour's gone by. I have work to do. So... yeah.
All right. Miles. Hey, Miles. Says, hey, guys, will Mayor of Chicago, Lori Lightfoot, be voted out? Also, Carlin, no dreams of someone trying to kill me. Miles had a dream the other day. He was like, does Joshua do dream interpretation? Miles had a dream that someone was trying to kill him. And I was like, I don't know. I gave him some, I tried to channel you. I was like, Joshua would probably say you're going through a death of some sort.
Excellent, Carlin.
Was I right?
Yes, I think that it would be a matter of you're probably ready to kill off an aspect of yourself, which makes perfect sense because we have the lunar eclipse tomorrow, full moon lunar eclipse. So in a lot of ways, we're all killing off an aspect of ourselves to varying degrees. So makes sense.
All right.
What was your question, though?
Will Lori Lightfoot be voted out as the mayor of Chicago?
Okay, so what is Lori Lightfoot's fate as she's the mayor or governor?
She's the mayor.
And tell me when to stop shuffling on that.
Stop.
Lori Lightfoot's destiny as the mayor of Chicago. Page of Swords, Ace of Wands, High Priestess. There's gonna be some stuff that she's gonna have to really talk about. Meaning like there's going to be some words that are really against her that she's going to defend herself with. And after she defends herself, most likely with the high priestess, she's going to be okay. But she has some fighting to do. There's going to be some fighting words that are going against her rather soon. And she's going to defend herself like you've never seen her defend herself. And when she needs to defend herself, she needs to defend herself, apparently.
She looks like a gremlin. Have you ever seen Lori Lightfoot? Let me show you what Lori Lightfoot looks like.
Beetlejuice, no?
Yes. She looks like a gremlin. And then they tried to gussy her up. Where's the picture where she got gussied up? And that was as good as it got.
That's she's attractive. She looks much more attractive there. Wow.
Joshua, let me remind you.
Compared to when she is not gussied up, I think that, progress, not perfection, right?
I suppose so. All right. Quantum Football says, I'm a Jew, and given what's happened in the past year, I agree with Carlin about Marjorie Taylor Greene. I'll make a longer post on locals later. Ha! The Jews are on my side, Joshua.
I would say one Jew is on your side. Maybe a few more, but I'm pretty sure most Jews would not be in regard to this one.
We'll see.
Maybe I'm wrong.
Maybe. George Andre Veloso Nunez says people with economical and political power in Germany before Adolf were Jewish. He started by saying all Jewish people had power, even those who didn't. The progression of the situation is similar. That's correct, Joshua. This is how what's going on in the U.S. right now is there are so many parallels to like Germany in the 30s. It's crazy, and I'm not gonna go through them all right now because we got stuff to do. But I'm just saying.
Okay.
All right. Stacy says, Carlin, can we have Joshua just put me out of my misery? Are the Republicans really just Democrats, and are they all working together for evil?
Oh, wow.
Are Republicans really just Democrats?
Are Republicans really just Democrats? And someone should stop shuffling on that.
Stop.
Let's see. Are Republicans really just Democrats? Knight of Wands, Four of Cups. I don't think so, no. I would say that there's definitely... like with Republicans, you have definitely a faraway energy from the Democratic Party. And I think that they're very much stabilized in terms of their feelings and their values. And I think that you're going to actually see some improvement with the Republican Party. So don't worry. You'll see some improvement. I think that you will.
I don't care. I already became a libertarian. I've already fed up with them. I don't care. Improvement by Republican standards is not improvement by my standards, okay?
Oh, okay, I get it.
Jamie Armstrong says, righteousness comes from God, self-righteousness comes from your ego.
I like that. Okay.
Dragon Water says, are we involved? We're getting so many spiritual questions tonight. This is fun.
No.
Are we involved in a multi-dimensional power struggle? That's a very meta question.
Like with the different universes trying to incorporate.
I guess.
Well, let's see. Well, I mean, there are obviously other universes, right? We can't be so arrogant to think that we're the only...
Of course there are other universes.
Only planet.
UFOs are becoming a real thing and no one cares because the world is so effed up.
It's true.
We're like, oh, that's nice.
But is there... are there any power struggles going on with the different universes? And so I'm going to stop shuffling in regard to that.
Stop.
Ooh, interesting. I think that there is a certain level of power struggle that's going on with the different worlds that exist, but with Seven of Swords, it's like people I think are playing nice. I think that there is a sense of making sure that your home is sort of cleaned up and things are sort of tight where you are at. And I think that there's nothing that's going to really happen. Like there's this push and pull, but I think that I think eventually like these different universes want to have communications with these other universes, but I think people are playing nicely. So I don't think that there's anything that we have to worry about, so to speak. I think that people are waiting for their spots. Like the aliens, for instance, I think they want to have more communication with us and we're just not ready. So they're doing what they can to communicate in ways that we are receptive to. So at a certain point, we're going to get comfortable with the idea of them and not, freak out.
Do you think that we're going to have communication with aliens in our lifetime?
I think we already have.
No, but like in like a more overt way. Will they reveal themselves?
I think so. I mean, there have been aliens that reveal themselves. I've sent you meditations on them.
I know, Joshua, but I mean to the general public, not for people like you and me who believe we can communicate with aliens through meditation. I mean for like average normal people who don't believe in crazy woo-woo things, okay? Will we experience aliens in our lifetime?
Because you can't experience something that you're not the vibration of. So, for instance, if you're not of a certain vibratory state, an alien could be sitting across from you, and you won't even see it. It will just you won't be able to resonate. You cannot perceive something that you're not the vibration of. So, unless as a collective we get to that vibratory state, if we do, then yeah, we'll be able to perceive aliens. But if we don't, then absolutely not. It'll be like blending in,
We're going to get through the rest of these super chats, and if we have time, I'm going to ask you if there's going to be a false flag alien invasion. And if we don't get to it, we'll do it next week.
Okay.
Dip1955 says, what is the fate of LA County DA George Gascon? Will he be recalled? LA County DA. I have no idea. This is your area, Joshua.
What's his name?
George Gascon?
What's the thing? And tell me when to stop shuffling in regard to him.
Stop.
Ooh. Yikes. So good things, then bad things, and then
that was a really bad card.
Yeah.
that middle one.
Yeah.
Show the middle card again, because you did it real quick. Yeah, it's a bad card.
Yeah. But it's almost like it's a roller coaster around this guy. So there's victory ahead first, then you get the 10 of Swords, which is misery, and then you have like good PR. But yeah, things are going to be in a roller coaster for him, but I think that he will probably get out of it. He'll probably get out of it with that Page of Pentacles at the end, but it's rough. So yeah, things ahead for him are not good. That's for sure. They're good, and then they're going to be bad, and then there's like damage control. Yeah.
All right. Lori J says, what will the outcome be from the Biden-Putin meeting in Geneva on June 16th?
And tell me when I should stop shuffling on that.
Stop.
Yikes. I don't think they like each other at all.
No, I would say no.
With the Lovers card, there'll be a dialogue and debate, but then the Five of Swords comes up. So the Five of Swords is going for the win-lose result. So like normally it's like with people who want to get along, it's like you can win and I can win. We can win together. You're right. This is like saying, no, you're going to lose and I'm going to win. Like it's going for the win-lose result. So it's not good. And then with the Prudence card, they're going to both be very, very careful. But he needs like to do better with like these relations, because I think the animosity is coming before what needs to happen, and there needs to be a win-win result, and like that does not look like it's going to happen at this moment in time. So it's not good, I wouldn't say.
Oh, good. Excellent news. Andrea L. says, can we just invite the aliens now? Can we just like Speaking of Illinois, will the Chicago political machine be broken up and people be prosecuted, especially the ex-Speaker of the House, Mike Madigan? Will the Chicago political machine be broken up?
What's the famous Chicago? What do you mean by Chicago political machine?
Like the corrupt, like people, the corrupt politicians in Chicago.
And someone's shuffling on that.
Stop.
Magician. There's not gonna be any like hoopla. I think with the Magician card, things are going to evolve in a certain way, and I think a lot of people will probably be leaving. A lot of people that are part of this corrupt aspect. And then with Knight of Cups, I think you're going to see some good improvement, but there's not going to be any like raid energetically that cleans up the Chicago political machine. But things will improve. I think especially because some people are walking away.
All right. Lori J again says, will there be a major announcement very soon that will send our country into a tailspin? We started off on such a high note, didn't we? And now everyone's like, is like the world gonna fall apart?
Okay, so some announcement that's going to send our country into a tailspin soon?
Yes.
And I'm going to stop shuffling on that.
Stop.
There will be some announcement that sends our country. Whoa!
That's not a good sign.
I know. There's going to be some information, that's for sure. And I say that because we have the Swiftness card. But I do apologize. I don't know what our third card is. Let's see if we can do that again.
All right, take two.
Some announcement that's going to put our country in a tailspin, right?
Yes.
And I'm going to stop shuffling on that.
Stop.
Oh. Yeah.
That is a yes. That is not.
I do think that, like with the Hangman, it might be like a false alarm, and then with the Star card, like
false flag alien invasion. False flag alien invasion.
I think there's going to be like some kind of a tower event. Well, yeah, I'm not going to amplify on that at all. With the Hangman, though, I think it's going to be one of those things like, oh no, it's okay, never mind.
False flag alien invasion. I'm calling it now. False flag alien invasion.
Yeah.
All right, we got two more super chats, Joshua.
Okay.
Is there already a higher advanced breakaway race of humans that control us from off or inner planet?
One more time.
Is there already a higher advanced breakaway race of humans that controls us from either off or inner planet?
And I'm going to stop shuffling on that.
Stop.
The Wheel of Fortune, Page of Wands, Nine of Wands. I don't think so. I think that with the Wheel of Fortune, I think that there's desire, but I don't think that they can penetrate. Like
there's no Anunnaki.
Anunnaki? What is that?
I'm gonna have to teach you about the Anunnaki, Joshua.
Okay.
The Anunnaki are our creators.
Oh, I think there's a desire to, but I don't think there's not enough power. But there is a desire for that. So that's a really interesting question.
Oh, good. Oh, good. There's a far-off race of advanced humans that want to control us from another planet. Excellent news. Yeah. All right.
But they can't. They can't. That's the good news.
Oh god, we just got 2 more super chats. Okay, we gotta do these quick, guys. Rapid fire. Carlin, can you explain why everyone assumes aliens are automatically benevolent? My thought on this is that there'd be no reason for aliens to be like benevolent. I don't think they're gonna be an advanced race. Like why? Like it'd be like us being like it'd be like us stepping on an anthill.
Right. I agree. I think they're very benevolent.
Yes, we have to hope, guys. We need to all hope for the best and manifest the best of the aliens.
I mean, haven't you guys seen Alf?
Alf ate cats, Joshua.
Oh, he did?
I guess. All right. Swolenta says, my family in Germany before war, segregating people and getting them to mistrust, making certain groups, claiming spreading disease. Seems awfully familiar. Exactly, Joshua. But we'll continue this debate next week. Okay, our last question for the night. And George Andre Veloso Nunez is going to remind you to mount that like button before we leave. Joshua, here's our last one. Are you ready?
I'm ready.
Is disco still on track for a comeback?
Let's see. And tell me when to stop shuffling on. Is disco on track for a comeback?
Stop. Please no, please no, please no, please no, please no, please no, please no.
Sadly, it doesn't look like it.
Oh, darn.
I think that with the Prudence card, there's going to be some elements from the 70s that do come back, but I think it's going to be a whole new animal that's going to be coming up, and then I think it's going to probably fade out really quickly. So I think that there will be some stuff that comes back from the disco era, but not as strongly as I would like. I was really hoping to do my Staying Alive thing, but it's okay. You know, what can you do?
I suppose you could still do that, but you just look really silly.
I'd look really silly, so.
Yeah. You would. Can't do that. All right, guys, that's all we have for tonight. If you would like to get an extra special personal reading from Joshua, his information is in the description below. You can get your tarot cards read. You can get your astrology card drawn. Lots of people in the chat apparently are your clients, Joshua. You're welcome.
Thank you, Carlin.
And we do this every Tuesday night, same time, same place. Join us next week at 9:30. Maybe we'll do the alien false flag invasion question. Who knows? But we'll see you then, guys. Bye.